And a good Thursday afternoon to you from the KXAN Plus studio. I'm Billy Gates, and we're talking high school football here in Central Texas today. Our KBVO Game of the Week is tonight, plus a KXAN Plus special on Friday. Here to talk about tonight's game, which we will not be doing. That'll fall in the hands of the Westlake Technical Entertainment folks. Is KXAN Sports Director Roger Wallace. And Roger, a rare Thursday night off for you. What are you going to do?
Be right here, Billy. Off from one job, on to another job. Yeah, it'll be back-to-back Westlake games on Thursday night. Tonight, the schedule falls where they're away from home at Burger Stadium against Akins. Next week, they opted to play a Thursday game. Part of it's due to the ACL weekend, so they'll play Austin High next Thursday. So, yeah, we'll turn over to Chaps TV tonight. Chaparrals and Akins. Akins, you know, they were 4-0. We talked about them last week, but we knew the competition was going to jump up, and obviously they got roughed up by Dripping Springs last week in their district opener, and what a back-to-back for them as they move on to have to play one of the best teams in the state in Westlake tonight.
Yeah, it is a pretty rough district slate for them so far. They get the number 11 team in Dripping Springs and get blasted 63-0, and then they've got the number 9 team in 6A, and chances are it's not going to go well for the Eagles. Let's just get to our little slate here for the KBVO Game of the Week tonight. Number 9 Westlake versus Akins. District opener for the Shaps, 7:30 p.m. Burger Stadium. Westlake was idle last week, and as we've said, Akins was on the wrong end of a 63-0 game against Dripping Springs. Roger, we'll get to these other games in a second, but I just want to talk about Westlake's kind of their run game here recently. Jaron Lopez, a sophomore for him, he's turned out to be quite a pretty good. He's no Jack Kaiser, but he's a pretty good back for him.
Yeah, really shifty and quick, and we saw how valuable he was in that Atascocita game, kind of the tipping point of their non-district. They lose to Prosper. They take care of Benito easily. So what was going to happen against Atascocita? And he was a big part of that. So I think they'll lean on that. They'll lean on their defense. And again, that district, as you know, Billy, there's going to be a couple of games where they're going to get tested in Dripping Springs and against Lake Travis. And then, you don't know if Bowie's got quite enough to hang with him, but that district kind of, unfortunately, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's kind of the haves and the have-nots there. And I'm afraid Akins kind of knows what they're up for. And, that's one of the things when we talk to coaches before they play, they understand. Yeah. High school football isn't, any given Friday night. Sometimes it's just a numbers mismatch. Yeah. It's a talent mismatch. And that's kind of where we are with that district this particular year, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. And going back to Westlake's previous game 2 weeks ago against Cibolo Steel, we both thought that was going to be a very competitive, very close game, but Westlake put one on Steel. They win 37-14 behind just an incredible defensive effort. I mean, Jonathan Hatton, the Texas A&M commit for Steel, he goes off. He scores on the first play of their first play of their first drive, runs 75 yards for a touchdown. But then after that, he's held to about 40 yards the rest of the game. He had 111 yards on 11 carries. Other than that, DJ Green for Steel, he was only finished 5 of 12 for 47 yards. So the Shaps did a very good job limiting Steel's passing game. And then, like I had said earlier about Lopez, he had 104 rushing yards. Sebastian Hinault had 63. Reese Wise turned in one of the most efficient games of his Westlake career, 13 of 16 for 207 yards and 2 touchdowns. 109 of those yards went to receiver Braden Riddell. So this Westlake offense is kind of starting to churn a little bit, Roger, and you gotta think that they have a good half tonight, and then maybe the reserves get the rest of the snaps.
Yeah, and then a couple weeks away from the showdown against Lake Travis that night, they'll honor Drew Brees. He's coming back. They were going to retire his jersey, so that'll be special. Yeah. And as you said, tonight and then next Thursday night against Austin High, you just don't expect a whole lot of resistance in those two ball games. So kind of the old cliche is what it is with them, and Tony Salazar knows that, and that's probably one reason they played the non-district schedule.
Absolutely.
They did, so they can get tested at least a couple of those ball games. And like you said, he probably thought he would get more tested against Steele because some of these games in district play, they're not going to get tested.
Right.
So they'll run their starters out, they'll do their thing, and then they'll get them out and let other guys get a chance to play as well.
Yep, build that depth, just like what Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian always talks about, but getting his guys in those non-conference games. Anyway, some other games Thursday night that we're taking a look at here. Dripping Springs plays Austin High, Hutto plays Westwood, and Georgetown plays Killeen Chaparral. Bit of a light Thursday night slate for the area. Roger, any other games tonight that have kind of make your eyebrows go up?
Well, I'm a little interested because we're going to have Georgetown on KXAN Plus next Friday out at Birkelbach Stadium against Rouse. So I'm interested to see them. Rouse coming off a loss in their district opener, but they can score points. So that one I've got an eye on as well. And we're kind of in that time last week, this week, where a lot of teams and districts are in their open week. So that's why the schedule's, especially when we look at tomorrow night's schedule, a little bit lighter than normal.
Sure. Speaking of tomorrow night, with Westlake playing on Thursday on KBVO, that's channel 14 over the air, by the way. We will not have that on KXAN.com or KXAN Plus, at least tonight. You can see the replay on KXAN Plus on Sunday later in the week here. But due to that, we found a replacement game that Roger will also not be doing Friday
I will
night
not be there.
because he will be Gainesville, Florida, right?
Yeah, so we'll have Cameron Parker
Yeah.
step in. You can hear him on 1300 The Zone. He did some of our beach volleyball for us this past spring on KBVO as well. So he'll join Keith Moreland tomorrow night from Monroe Stadium. And we'll see. We'll see if McNeil can hang with Vandegrift. If not, then, Vandegrift's going to be 3-0 in district play. And, Round Rock looked a lot better last week than we've seen them. They kind of got off the schneid in that win over a pretty good McNeil team. And so Vandegrift and Round Rock headed for that collision course matchup in the final Friday. But, yeah, that should be fun. Friday night, 7 o'clock at Monroe Stadium, McNeil and Vandegrift on KXAN Plus.
Yeah, good stuff. McNeil comes into the game 3-2. Vandegrift 3-1. Let's go to our slate here real quick. Last week, McNeil was a 56-21 winner over Stony Point, and Vandegrift beat Vista Ridge 21-10. Roger, not quite the prolific offense that we've been accustomed to see from the Vipers, the defending 6A2 champions, but it's enough to get it done.
Yeah, and that's kind of been all season, including the rather stunning loss to Dripping Springs. Maybe not stunning that they lost as much as it was pretty one-sided. But you're right. That's a team that we've seen score a lot of points. Drew Sanders is an old defensive coach, so he's fine with that defense playing really well. But that will be interesting to see if McNeil can kind of hang with Vandegrift on their home field tomorrow night as well, and see. We'll get a better picture. Hutto also sitting there at 2-0 in that District 25 6A.
And that'll be a 6:55 broadcast time on KXAN Plus. Again, Cameron Parker's going to help us out, and he's going to call the game with Keith Moreland, correct? They're both going to be there?
Yeah, they'll be there.
All right. We gotta have Zonk do the work for us when he can,
No doubt.
All right, some other games we're looking at Friday. Cedar Park plays Rouse. Georgetown Eastview plays Lake Belton. Roger, you saying that was going to be a pretty good one. And then Hendrickson and College Station are playing.
Yeah, Eastview's having a nice year. They both won their district opener. Hendrickson, they hung with Weiss for a while last Friday night, and then Weiss just pulled away. I mean, they are so loaded. Talent-wise, and they ran away and hit in that game late. And then Hendrickson and College Station should be a fun one tomorrow night as well. So, some good matchups, a little lighter schedule. But again, it's fun to kind of see how this is going to take shape as we are now into the second half of the season for just about everybody.
That's crazy to say. It feels like we were doing daily doubles at
well, it's because it's still 97 degrees when they're kicking it off.
No kidding, right? Yeah, it's still mid-90s here, and we're about the first weekend of ACL coming up. So let's have a look at the Dave Campbell's Texas Football 6A poll here. We get down to number 5 is Lake Travis. They're off coming up. And number 9 sits Westlake, and then there at number 11 is Dripping Springs. And then their 14 is Vandegrift. So got a pretty good representation of Central Texas there in the 6A poll. I mean, just kind of your usual suspects, and I always get a kick out of the Louisville Fighting Farmers. I think that's always a fun mascot. 5A Division I, we'll hit this real quick because I want to talk about the Anderson Trojans.
How about that?
How about that? They're number 9 in the latest 5A Division I poll, and Pflugerville Weiss, they're at number 10. Anderson taking on Kyle Lehman on Friday, and that kind of is going to fall into that category of potential blowout.
Yeah, we're going to see Anderson a couple more times on KBVO, including that finale, the last Thursday of the regular season. They'll take on Weiss at the field. Pretty good chance that's going to be for a district championship.
Yeah, that's looking like it.
Yeah, so it's amazing. Donald Hatcher, the job he's done there. He lost his quarterback Max Gerlich, and now he is Gerlich went on to UTSA, but they haven't missed a beat. They're really impressive. We saw them in the game against McCallum on opening Thursday. Yeah, and that's a fun story because it's been a struggle for AISD to make playoff runs, and maybe this Anderson team can do it. We've seen it with LBJ. We've seen it almost working on a decade now ago. Yeah, McCallum did under Charles Taylor, who's now at Pflugerville. And it looks like this Anderson team might be able to make a run in the postseason.
Well, they've already got 2 district wins over the College Station High School, so that's a pretty good start. They beat A&M Consolidated last week, 42-40 in a bunch of overtimes. I was told 6. I was told 6. Okay. It could have been 5. Who knows? All right. Who counts after 2, right? So they win. They win that one 42-40. Caleb Crenshaw. He, as the kids say, he ate against the Tigers. 34 carries for 206 yards with 3 touchdowns to lead the Trojans. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Well, we saw him, and he's special. Came over. He played last year at LBJ, and he gives them that dimension along with Yaheem Riley, the Texas commit in their secondary. So. Not often you can inherit a couple of players of their caliber to already a pretty good roster. So, Crenshaw's a dangerous back and certainly adds to their attack. So it's a fun program to watch. And again, AISD looking for something to hang their hat on. And I think Anderson might be one of those teams to make a little noise in November.
Yeah, we have a look at the District 12 5A Division I standings. Anderson there at the top, 2-0. A&M Consolidated 2-1. Weiss 2-1, and Hendrickson 2-1. So, like we've been saying, that Anderson Weiss game, maybe a big one coming down the pike. So we'll keep an eye on those guys. But until then, I mean, Roger, on talking Friday football, any other games that kind of caught your attention?
Well, the Rouse Cedar Park game. Because Rouse is a good team, but they have a chance of starting out 0-2 before going to Georgetown. So it'll be interesting to see if they can step up against Cedar Park. Again, that's one of those in district, and they are in the same school district. So I'm sure a lot of these kids know each other. So that's one I'm keeping an eye on. That'll be at Gupton Stadium.
Fun little neighborhood rivalry.
Gupton Stadium on Friday night at 7.
All righty. Well, we're going to leave it there for this high school football preview. So thank you so much for watching. For Roger Wallace, I'm Billy Gates, and we'll talk to you again very soon.